Draft by Andrew Villa. The 6th Street Devil. After a grueling week of school and helping our parents with family responsibilities, the weekend had finally arrived. My cousin Jeff and I found ourselves sprawled on his bed, belly down, gazing out the window at a nearby apartment building that had recently caught fire. The charred structure now loomed ominously behind the apartment where much of my family resided, an eerily similar building bearing the scars of destruction. It was perched upon massive concrete blocks, a grim reminder of nature's fury. Suddenly, Jeff bolted upright, his eyes wide and a mischievous grin spreading across his face, a sure sign that a dangerous idea was brewing in his mind. After a long pause, he finally broke the silence. "I dare you to go into that building," he exclaimed, laughter punctuating his reckless challenge. "You're such a coward, just do it." Feeling a mix of anxiety and exhilaration, I knew I couldn't back down. In our world, where masculinity was often defined by courage, backing away from a challenge was simply not an option. People had whispered about the devil being seen wandering through that building as it burned, and the unsettling reports of 8 bodies discovered in a single apartment soon spread. Strangely enough, none of them were burned, they were presumed to have suffocated instead. With a defiant gleam in my eye and a grin of my own, I shot back, "I dare you, you idiot." There was unspoken understanding. We were locked in a challenge that demanded we prove our bravery as proud Stocktonians. Then, in a moment of shared resolve, Jeff declared, "Let's both do it." I sprang to my feet, puffing out my chest and proclaiming, "I'm a Stockton gangster, and fear has no hold on me." To which Jeff replied, "What you said, cousin, but I'm the real gangster around here." In Stockton, California, tales of monsters, ghosts, and demons were as common as the air we breathed. The 6th Street area was notorious, a low-income neighborhood primarily home to Hispanic and Black families, rumored to be cursed by unfathomable evils. Tragedy had followed this place, and whispers about the devil haunting its shadows had become local folklore. Yet, as brave Stockton youths, we only feared our parents and God. With our pact sealed, we stepped outside, heading toward the charred skeleton of the building. As we approached the doorframe, I glanced at Jeff, uncertainty creeping in. "Are you really sure about this?" I inquired, mostly for my own sake. "Of course, I am," he assured me, exuding confidence. The door opening stood a couple of feet above ground, compelling me to leap and grasp the edge, pulling myself in and landing gracefully in a kneeling position. Jeff mimicked my movements, just as determined. It was around 5 p.m., the chill of October settling in as night began to cloak the sky. As I retrieved my small flashlight, I turned to share my plan with Jeff. "Let's traverse this place from one end to the other. We'll prove ourselves as true Stockton men." Jeff merely smiled, his silence unusual, but I chose to ignore it. Leading the way, we ventured into what appeared to be a living room, soon transitioning into a dim hallway where the darkness felt oppressive. It was odd, even though the hallway lacked light, the enveloping shadows evoked terrifying thoughts of monsters and demons that made me shake my head vigorously, forcing those notions away. When we entered another room, windows on both the front and back revealed shadows devoid of sunlight filtering through. A nervous tension gripped me as I pointed my flashlight toward the front window, only to discover a viscous black substance clogging the entrance. "What in the world is that? It's blocking the sun," I muttered uneasily, an instinctual urge to flee bubbling to the surface. Jeff, leaning closer, hesitated and asked, "Could that be fungus?" I retorted, "I don't know. It's pronounced fungus." "Screw you," Jeff shouted back, his voice echoing in the eerie space. As we cautiously approached the unsettling window, I reached out to touch it but hesitated as Jeff suddenly blurted, "Don't touch it, you idiot. We don't know what it is." Just then, a deafening thud resonated from somewhere behind us, resembling the sound of a bat striking the wooden floor. Fear surged through us, and we spun around, simultaneously yelling, "What the hell?" There, looming in the doorway, was a massive shadow that resembled a man. Its features were indistinguishable, just a dark silhouette swaying serenely back and forth, an unsettling figure that felt out of place in the world we thought we knew. With fear coursing through my veins, I planted my right foot firmly on the ground and shouted defiantly at the shadow that seemed to loom over us like a dark presence, "You don't want to mess with us. My family will take you down. We'll destroy you, you sick pervert." My instincts screamed for me to flee, yet the shadow obstructed our only escape route, and the sinister figures lurking in the windows filled me with dread. The shadow finally broke its silence, its voice a low rumble. "You've entered my territory now, little Andrew. How old are you and Jeff, these days?" 13. After an agonizing pause, I resolved to muster my courage and push back against this nightmare. "I don't care if I live or die. I have to stand my ground. I struck a defiant pose, channeling my inner toughness, and bellowed, "You're just a punk. This is my turf, you motherfucking pervert. Who the hell do you think you are? Get the hell out of here before we mess you up." Laughter erupted from the shadow, and it replied, "Oh, little Drew, that's quite brave of you. But we need to get down to business. I'm very hungry, and it's time to eat." I could feel my cousin Jeff trembling behind me, a reassuring grip on my hand that was now faltering. I prepared to inspire him, but before I could speak, the ominous figure surged forward. Panic gripped me as I anticipated an attack, but in an instant, it vanished. A chill ran down my spine, something was off. I scanned the room, feeling an invisible weight closing in. Alarmingly, Jeff's hand was no longer in mine. Sensing the worst, I turned around to confront the shadow, and that was when I saw it in full detail, standing at least 7 feet tall, with grotesque features resembling a bizarrely mutated human. Its large head was marred with warts, and its gaping mouth was filled with sharp teeth. For a brief, horrifying moment, I was transfixed, but it was fleeting. My gaze dropped to the floor, and horror washed over me as I saw Jeff's body sprawled out, blood everywhere. The creature lifted Jeff's severed head to its mouth, the sounds of grotesque chewing tearing through my sanity, each crunch sending shockwaves of despair through me. Time felt suspended. I was immobilized by shock, witnessing the devil relish my cousin's remains. "Andrew, my sweet boy," the creature taunted, lowering the mangled head to its chest. "Are you hungry?" Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably, and a boiling rage began to rise within me. Torn between fighting and fleeing, I summoned every ounce of strength. I locked eyes with the devil, feeling an icy resolve envelop me. "Jeff was my brother. You will pay for what you've done. I'll take you down even if it costs me my life. Family is everything." In that instant, I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath to center myself. When I opened them again, the devil had vanished. "Damn it," I cursed, my heart racing. Suddenly, its chilling laughter echoed from behind me, and I whirled around, adrenaline surging as I braced myself for battle. To my horror, the monster reappeared in the same spot where it had first materialized, still clutching Jeff's head, his body lifeless at its feet. Fury consumed me, and I shouted, "Fuck you. You monster." Emboldened by my anger, I watched in despair as the creature took another bite from Jeff's head, blood dripping down its chin. "Oh Andrew, I'll be saving you for dessert. Your bravery will be quite the delicacy. Fight all you want, but this world belongs to me, and there's no escape." With that, the devil cackled, a sound laced with malice. Staring down my fear, I took a slow step forward, my voice trembling but fierce. "I've had enough. I'm a Stockton gangster through and through." Glancing around, I spotted a metal pipe with a jagged end. Gripping it tightly, I charged at the devil, yelling, "Jeff! This is for you, brother. Jeff!" I aimed the makeshift weapon directly at its chest. To my astonishment, the devil screeched, not in ferocity but as if it were suffering. I watched as 3 sword-like protrusions erupted from its torso. It staggered, dropping to its knees, and then collapsed face first onto the ground. Suddenly, my mom and aunts Carmen and Susie appeared, swords gripped tightly, eyes filled with fierce determination. From behind them emerged my Uncle John, wielding an ancient-looking axe, rallying us as he stood over the defeated fiend. "For my son," he roared, raising the axe high before striking down decisively, severing the devil's head from its body. A sense of hollow victory washed over me, and I gazed at Jeff's half-eaten form murmuring, "I'm sorry, brother." In that moment of despair, a whisper floated to me from the shadows of the adjoining room. "It's all right, brother. This isn't the end. We will meet again." For just a heartbeat, I caught a glimpse of Jeff's familiar face, and then, like smoke, he vanished into the abyss.